Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nick and I'm a critical canvas in the UK. Today I've got a very interesting video about my IELTS journey, and it's gonna be an interesting one because it was very challenging for me at first, and I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it throughout the video. My IELTS journey started back in 2020 when COVID had just started, and I just done my CBT exam, my nursing exam for UK nursing, and I passed, and I was really in the mood to get it over with and focus on other things. So at first I booked my IELTS exam, and for those who don't know, IELTS is one of the major requirements if you want to work abroad, especially in UK or US. And IELTS is an English exam, and they just test to know if you're able to converse in English. That is the most basic reason why we do that exam. So at first I did my research and I felt that I did not want a lecturer, so I decided to do it on my own. And for you to be able to do that exam, the first thing you do is you create an account with British Council or UNICEF or Pearsonville. It's one and the same group. Pearsonville is a group of, it's a company from the UK, and majorly they do administer exams for all those guys who are doing exams either online or they are studying from campuses or universities abroad, but they are not there physically, they are doing everything online. So they are the guys who do the examination part, so they do offer IELTS exam. So you can open with them or British Council. So I used British Council. I opened my account, and after you open an account, they normally give you some materials for studying. So I relied on them quite a lot, and I got most of the information from them, because the exam itself, before you are eligible to book, it's between 25,000 Kenya shillings and 30,000 Kenya shillings. It keeps changing depending on the value of the pound on the stock market, so it keeps changing every now and then. So at first I took like 4 weeks to go through the materials on my own, but I was quite more confused because I was not really getting about the testing system. So I went on to YouTube and I got a couple of videos from guys here and there, and I was really confused. And to make matters worse, I booked the exam. So I went to do an exam of which I did not have a copy about. So for you to be able to work in the UK, there are scores, and you have to achieve an overall score of band 7 and a minimum of 6.5 in writing, and all other 3, that is speaking, listening, and reading, you have to get a band score of 7. So in overall you should average a 7. So I went on to do that exam with all that information in mind, having risked it all with my 27,000 shillings, and I knew I was gonna fail because I was not ready for the exam. So I went to the examination room, I did the exam, and I was sure before I left the examination room that I had failed reading, because I was around, reading normally has got 40 questions, and it comprises of 3 passages, and you have to read in 1 hour and answer 40 questions. So you have to be really fast for you to be able to like finish in time. So by the time the time was over, I was number 38. So I did not manage to finish in time. So I stayed for like 2 weeks and the results came. And then I'd passed the three except reading. Reading, I got a 6.5. 6.5 is there about 29 out of 40. I tried at least, being the first time, and I did not go to class. And I booked the UKVI. I did not book the IELTS academic because at that time they were saying they were very clear on the requirements at that time. They just wanted the UKVI alone. So after I failed, now I felt the need of looking like for a lecturer. And then the agency I was using, I managed to like befriend one of the lecturers. Up to today is one of my best friends, and he really helped me to like restart the journey again for my IELTS exam. And when I was almost like getting on well with everything, I had some issues at work because my unit was really getting busier, and there was understaffing, so we were forced to do like some extra shifts here and there, so the time for studying was not there. So I felt I was half ready. I did this exam again, that is December 2020, just before Christmas. I had some few weeks leave, so I did the exam. I remember it was on I think 19th, just 1 week before Christmas. And then the results came thereafter, just before Christmas, and I failed again. I got a 6.5 in reading. And the problem was, I was reading that examination paper with the aim of understanding the concepts, and that is where I was going wrong. And I learned something at that time. When you're about to do IELTS and it's a reading exam, you don't read to understand the text, you read to answer the questions. And then it was a trap for me because almost all the texts I had on that paper were medical related texts. So it triggered the information I had. So it reached a point whereby I was not following instructions. I was using the information I know, because it's a familiar text, to answer questions which are quite different from like the rules and instructions of the examination. So I found myself there bargaining. Should I use the information on the texts or what I know? And that really confused me and wasted a lot of time. So I learned that tactic from the lecturer, and he told me the other thing you need to do about your reading is print out the papers. So at that point in time, I only had access to British Council materials, so it gave me some other like materials, and I would say they really helped me because I had access to Cambridge tests, that is Cambridge, from Cambridge 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and they normally have a full set of exams, 4 test papers, and I printed all of them. I remember I spent close to 3,000 printing them. I did print like 32 examinations, and after that, now I really was discouraged when I failed the exam the second time. So I went like mute for quite some time. I was not really doing anything about it. I had just given up in a way. Then when I was just in that period of time, I came across a video on YouTube of a guy who did it 14 times, and I felt the need to do it again. So lucky for me, I had some remaining days on my leave, and I took leave, all of my leave days, and I just decided I'm just going to focus on IELTS and IELTS alone. And I remember very well, on a daily basis I used to do 4 reading papers, because that is where I had the problem, and I ensure that I timed myself and I do it under an hour, and I managed to be getting 32 and above, 32 and above, 32 and above for like almost 28 papers. And then in February 2021 I felt that like I was ready for the exam, and then I went into that exam and I nailed it. I left the examination room knowing that I had passed my exam. I was just waiting the results for formality, because you normally feel it, you can feel it, you've passed. So one of the things I learned from my IELTS journey about just generally IELTS, if you want to pass that exam on the first attempt, there are things you need to do. And one of them is get ready. Getting ready means get materials first, identify the kind of exam you want to do, because for UK, if you want to come to UK as a nurse, you need IELTS academic or UKVI. Those two are allowed for you to like come to practice as a skilled healthcare worker in the UK. That is, as a nurse, specifically as a nurse, you need either UKVI or IELTS academic. Then you need to find yourself time, like good time for you to study, because IELTS requires consistency. Then after you've done all that, ensure that your lecturer is certified. Then after you've got yourself a lecturer, now the other thing you need to do is practice. And practice goes all the way in the 4 different subjects. And for reading, you need to print out the papers and do them and time yourself, because time is key in reading. And then you need to also up your game when it comes to your reading skills. You really need to read fast. And remember, you're reading to answer questions, not to understand the text. And then for writing, you just need to get to know the requirements of either task 1 or task 2, because they are wrote differently and each of them has its own requirements. So just differentiate the requirements and it will be very, very much easier for you. Then speaking just requires simple, fluent English and practice. I know that is the most weird thing. You'll talk to yourself for hours and hours until you get it right. And trust you me, if you fail to practice speaking in the examination, it's going to be hell. So just use those questions and assume like you're talking to the lecturer on the other side or your examiner on the other side, and be reading the questions and you answer like you are in an examination room, and it will be very, very much easier for you, because the situation you're going to find in the examination room, if you're doing face-to-face, you're going to be on this side of the table, the lecturer is on, or the examiner is on the other side, and you've got a shield in between made of glass because of the COVID situation. And it gets a little bit scary because one, you'll be talking using a mask, and if you're not used to that, it's gonna be really hard on you, because for us, we are used to can talk on mask for like 12 hours. So try your best, do the practice for speaking. And then for listening is very, very much easier. Listening requires concentration when it comes to listening. So listening skills, ensure that you are concentrating when the audio is being played, because you need to be fast when it comes to writing answers, because if you are slow, the conversation will go on, and some things might get by because you are not listening. And the other thing is, if you miss something, don't concentrate on the question you just missed. Just proceed to the next, because if you delay on the previous question, it's going to affect your exam all the way, because when that audio starts playing, it does not stop. So just have those few tips for the examination and you're good to go. I'm just hoping this video has inspired you. If you want to come to the UK as a nurse and you are finding it challenging when you're doing either your revision or you booked your IELTS exam, and for those who require support, I've got the contacts of the lecturer. He's got a company called Jamafric Global Consultancy. He's got an account on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I'm going to leave his contacts down below. If you need any support in terms of IELTS, just call him. He's called James Orwa, and he's really good at it. I'm telling you, he's really good at it. So if you want to excel in your IELTS, kindly call him, and I'll be happy to get some feedbacks also on any other type of video you want me to do. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye bye.